Do you ever wonder why people drift away so easily, or why it feels like you're meant to walk a different path? Have you considered that this solitude might be a calling, a sign that you're being set apart for something only you can fulfill? Since childhood, you've been marked, held in reserve, hidden in plain sight by forces beyond what the eye can see. This isn't some vague or accidental calling. You were set apart deliberately, cloaked in a mantle of solitude woven tightly to shield you from influences that might have weakened you, that could have blurred the vision intended for you alone. Other children, the ones you watched from the edges, blended easily into clusters, seeming to belong without question. Yet for you, even the simplest connection often felt heavy, wrapped in an unspoken sense of distance. This wasn't isolation by accident or a flaw to correct. It was a purpose-driven separation, a careful sequestering to mold and shape you without distraction. When you feel the silent walls rise between you and others, it's because you're on a path carved out specifically for you. The very fabric of your life holds barriers that may appear isolating, but these are defenses, purposeful boundaries, built by unseen hands to keep you aligned with a truth that doesn't bend to the world's whims. You stand out not because you chose to, but because you were chosen, and this isolation wasn't asked of you. It was given to you like a crown, one so heavy and vast it could never be worn in a crowd. Your path is fortified against the trivial, defended from the mundane. The friendships that faded, the acquaintances who drifted away, they were gently led aside, their presence unnecessary for the journey you walk alone. Being misunderstood, even from the earliest days, is part of the pattern. The peculiar, piercing gaze others often held for you, that probing look as though they sensed something unusual, wasn't a coincidence. It was an instinctive recognition that you were set apart, bearing a signature that marked you as different, even alien. You carried this mark in subtle ways, in the strange wisdom beyond your years, the clarity of thought that alienated you, the sense of inner depth that others couldn't quite meet. Where others might have seen this difference as a flaw, it was, in truth, your foundation, a core strength meant to be preserved unblemished by the transient and the temporary. And though society may judge you, this misunderstanding was allowed, even ordained, to shield you from the shallow connections that would dilute the gravity of your purpose. As you walked through life, doors seemed to close without warning. Friends you thought you'd keep drifted like mist in the morning sun. While others anchored themselves easily, you were kept moving, your solitude carrying you into depths unshared by those around you. But this was no punishment, nor a fault to remedy. It was a meticulously designed protection. Your soul, forged to withstand the weight of revelation, could not afford to bear the trivial burdens of shallow companionship. And so you were kept at a distance, not to suffer but to gain sight, clarity sharper than the crowd could bear. Your reserve was a signal, a shield, meant to keep you vigilant, awake, aware of the forces guiding you toward a truth reserved only for those set apart. Yes, society may look on, questioning why you do not blend in, wondering why connections come and go in your life like fleeting shadows. They may call it a lack, a flaw, something incomplete. But their judgments are bound to their world, their perception limited to what they can grasp. They see aloneness as emptiness, but in truth, it is your fullness. A fullness too profound for the shallow, too intense for those who seek comfort over truth. You are set aside, not out of lack, but because you bear a different weight, a calling that cannot coexist with the distractions they embrace so willingly. Your solitude is not void, but purpose. Your path is not empty, but precise, carved out by hands unseen yet ever present. And when the moments come, the rare moments when someone does step near enough to feel the gravity of your presence, they sense it, a stillness, a weight. Some will stand back, unable to bear the depths. Others may linger, but always at arm's length, uncertain and uneasy. For what you carry is sacred, and it demands distance, a reserve of its own. This isn't a calling others can recognize easily. To be chosen is to be marked with solitude, to be understood only by those who, too, bear the weight of being set apart. This reserve, this quiet separation, is a signal, the unmistakable touch of purpose. shielding you so that the fullness of your calling can come to light, untouched, unbroken, unfiltered by the fleeting touch of the world. You hold a presence others can't resist, yet too often they approach you with shallow intentions, circling you only to grasp a part of the power you carry. They don't come to build, to stand with you through the seasons. They come only to see what they can take, to sample your strength without giving any in return. You have been through it before. Those who walk into your life, wrapping their words in charm, but their actions only reveal the hollowness they bring. These test drivers move in, using your loyalty, your kindness, and your devotion, tasting the depths of what it means to truly connect, without ever intending to stay. Your worth is not a sample, not a mere taste. You are not here for temporary hands to shape and discard. You are the whole, unbreakable, undivided, and your presence demands more than fleeting curiosity. These people, who drift in and out as if you were a revolving door, offer promises as thin as smoke, seeking what you can give without the strength to give anything in return. But that season is over. You have outgrown the hollow grasp of those who merely come to test drive your soul. You have stepped beyond the need to entertain half-hearted connections that drain you, for you no longer exist to fuel the fragile desires of those who cannot comprehend your depth. It is time to guard the sanctuary of your energy, to defend the essence of who you are against those who see you as an experience rather than a person. You've given your heart too freely to those who never intended to stay, who arrived with open hands and empty hearts. You have poured from a well that, while deep, is not endless. You have given to those who do not deserve the reservoirs of wisdom and warmth that you bring. This new season demands discernment. It calls for a fierce recognition of your own worth, one that does not bend to those who think they can try you on, as if you were something to discard at whim. They come with words of admiration, feeding on your light as though it were theirs to take. They pretend to be captivated, feigning respect, yet their actions reveal that they are merely tourists in the country of your soul. These encounters are a theft disguised as affection, where their interest is an illusion, and you are left to carry the weight of their unfinished stories. But you are not a trial run. You are not an experiment in loyalty, in love, or in kindness, and you have no time left to lend to those who do not intend to see you as anything more than a momentary escape. It is not coldness that guides you now, but clarity, for you can no longer sacrifice yourself to the empty affections of those who only mean to linger and never to root. Their presence was not an honor bestowed upon you. It was a burden disguised as companionship, and it is a weight you no longer need to bear. Your worth, rooted in your strength, in your kindness, and in your spirit, does not deserve to be tested like a trial product in the hands of those who never intended to stay. The energy they drain, the time they steal, are no longer debts you are willing to incur. From here, you will walk with the confidence of one who knows that temporary, one-sided relationships have no place in the life you are building. Those who come with hands open and hearts half-closed will no longer find comfort in your presence. You stand too firm, too rooted in your worth, to be the temporary shelter of those who bring only a passing warmth. Let them wander. Let them seek what they cannot find. For your life has no room for those who are unwilling to give, unwilling to see you as the force of nature that you are. You are done with holding spaces in your heart for those who only fill them with silence. This is your time to pull inward, to carve out a foundation rooted in the solitude others fear, but which you wear like an armor. You've been given this season, not as an exile, but as an invitation to grow unencumbered, to reach into yourself with both hands and draw out what lies hidden beneath the noise of others' opinions and the chaos of superficial connections. It's here, in this clearing, that you're free to focus on the task assigned to you alone. This isn't a time to look for external validation. Your purpose requires silence. It demands space. You are being guided to fortify yourself in a way that others rarely know, to deepen your roots so that nothing can shake you. In this solitude, you are free to confront your inner limits, to expand the walls of what you thought was possible. Your strength lies dormant until you push against these edges. Rebuilding yourself from within isn't a process of filling empty spaces, but of igniting the core fire you've carried all along. Focus on growth in its fullest sense. It's time to invest in the areas often dismissed by those who live only for the moment. Direct your energy into cultivating wisdom, into shaping a future that answers to no one's design but your own. Secure your finances, not as mere wealth, but as a fortress, a legacy you'll leave behind as testament to the strength you've forged in the silence. This season, meant for preparation, calls you to strip away what distracts from the mission you were given before you were even aware of it. Your purpose is not something to uncover in the eyes of others, but to build through your own commitment, your own focus. Let your ambition rise, not as the world measures it, but as a fire kindled deep, one that illuminates your path. You are not here to be led by trends or the shallow goals that attract the masses. You have been set apart to chart a path through the shadows. The more you pour into this purpose, the more you'll find a strength that others could never have shown you, a focus sharper than any social connection could have inspired. True solitude is not loneliness. It is a vast space in which you become the architect, free to raise your life's structure brick by unbreakable brick. In this silence, you hear the steady beat of your calling, unhindered by the noise of lesser pursuits. With each step forward, you grow closer to the legacy you are carving, closer to becoming the person capable of holding the weight of that purpose. You're called to build something indestructible, something that will outlast you, a structure unshaken by time, held up by pillars you've shaped through your dedication. This solitude sharpens you. It polishes you to a gleam that can't be dulled by mere distraction. You are in a season where you gather strength, piece by piece, from within. It's here, in this focus, that you'll come to understand the depths of your resilience, to feel the raw power of a mind fully committed to its purpose. If you're ready to amplify this inner power, to sharpen your focus with intention, the Obsidian Inner Order is here for you. Inside, we teach you how to turn solitude into a strength that radiates far beyond yourself. Through the insights of modern manifestation mechanics and a community of over 400 like-minded souls, you'll elevate your focus and build a foundation that withstands anything life brings your way. This is your time to cultivate true resilience and unstoppable momentum. The link is in the description. Solitude wraps around you, not as confinement, but as a sanctuary, a place of deep transformation orchestrated with deliberate care. This isolation isn't a barren void or a punishment. It is a consecrated space where your inner being undergoes refinement. You are here, set apart, not by accident but by design, drawn into a season where every quiet moment shapes you in ways the world could never understand. You are shielded by an unseen force, guarded from distractions that would otherwise scatter your purpose, kept within walls of solitude as part of a divine metamorphosis. In this solitude, you are transformed, your rough edges smoothed, your hidden depths uncovered. This is the necessary silence before the resounding echoes of a life fully realized. Isolation becomes your chrysalis, a place where the shallow voices of the world fall silent, leaving only the steady, unshakable call of your purpose. Every whisper of doubt, every tug toward distraction, is stilled here. In this stillness, you are not forsaken but held closely, fiercely, by a force greater than yourself, as you shed old layers and emerge clearer, stronger. This is divine protection, a shelter from influences that would dilute your essence. You are hidden here, like a precious stone, sheltered from what could corrode or compromise the core of who you are. Within this solitude, your spirit is polished, not merely for the demands of today, but for the weight of a purpose that stretches far beyond. The isolation you feel is not emptiness. It is the fullness of preparation, the profound weight of transformation. Every moment spent in solitude draws you nearer to the heart of your calling. This is where you mend, where the unseen threads of healing wrap around wounds you may not even know you carry. In this silence, each unspoken truth surfaces, each shadow meets the light, and you are not only healed but rebuilt, reshaped. You are being fortified from within, prepared to carry a strength that will not be shaken when the world comes rushing back. This quiet is your refiner's fire, where all that is unnecessary burns away, leaving only the brilliance of a purpose sharpened and unbreakable. And yes, this solitude is temporary, a season designed not to keep you hidden, but to release you, when the time is right, into a future that requires the strength you are cultivating now. The walls around you are not prison walls, but protective barriers, guarding this sacred work until it is ready. Do not let the silence mislead you. It is not an end, but a passage, a process designed to leave you prepared, fortified for the challenges and triumphs that await. This is the sacred interval where you are transformed from within, becoming not only more resilient, but more aligned with the unique purpose marked for you. The world outside may clamor, unable to understand the depths of your seclusion, but they do not know what is unfolding here. They see isolation as emptiness, but you understand now that it is the birthplace of true strength. This solitude is a gift, a divine provision that shelters you, a time where the divine hand reaches in, shaping you, honing your vision, making clear the path before you. This is your preparation, not for survival, but for ascendance, a season where your focus sharpens and your purpose reveals itself in the silent spaces. You are being called to step beyond the cycles that have bound you, to break free from the illusions of dependence that once held sway over your heart and mind. This path of independence is not a separation from others. It is a liberation from the need to be completed by anything outside yourself. Every time you sought fulfillment in others, leaning into the fragile promises of comfort they offered, you gave away a piece of your own strength. But now, you are being stripped of those illusions, forced to confront the truth that your power, your wholeness, has always been within. This is a fierce calling to self-sufficiency, a shedding of reliance, a rebirth into a state of true strength. Dependency is an invisible tether, a subtle chain, that keeps you reaching outward when you should be looking inward. Each time you sought refuge in others to mend wounds only you could heal, you delayed this very transformation. But this is your season of healing, of taking back the fragments of yourself you once scattered into the hands of others. This is not a rejection of connection, but a reclamation of sovereignty. The pain, the isolation, the longing, these are no longer burdens. They are guides, pulling you toward the source of your own strength. What you seek to fill within yourself cannot be filled by any hand but your own. In this time you are called to pour into yourself, to root so deeply into your own soil that no storm can uproot you, that no departure or loss can leave you barren. You are not meant to bend to the whims of those who come and go, to make your worth dependent on the passing affections of others. You are meant to be an unshakable foundation, a force of life so whole that any connection with others becomes an addition, not a completion. In this season, you are becoming the unyielding tree that stands tall regardless of the changing winds, your roots nourished by the reservoirs within. As you heal, you strip away the need for external validation, the false comfort of someone else's attention. You are called now to do the deep work, to confront every wound you tried to hide under layers of connection and dependency. This is the work of self-creation, where you do not hide behind relationships to distract from the pain, but face it head-on, transmuting each scar into a testament of resilience. In facing your shadows, in healing those wounds yourself, you become someone who no longer needs to reach outward for fulfillment. You are building a fortress from the inside out, a foundation that stands in the face of loss, rejection, and solitude. This independence, this ability to stand whole, allows you to enter future relationships not as one who needs, but as one who gives freely, who adds to another without taking from yourself. You become not a seeker of love, but a source of it, rooted so deeply in your self-worth that you cannot be shaken by the temporary nature of others' affection. In this way, you liberate yourself from the cycles of dependency that have held you back. You no longer seek others to fill your voids, but stand as someone whose strength flows outward, creating connections without ever sacrificing your own essence. You are held firmly in the hands of a divine purpose, woven with precision and power. In this time of solitude and transformation, know that you are not cast aside, but preserved, cherished, and prepared. Every quiet moment, every isolated hour, is a part of this shaping, a deliberate act of love meant to fortify you for blessings that demand your fullness, for relationships that honor your depth. This solitude is not emptiness but fullness. It is not absence but profound presence, a preparation to receive what is worthy of the strength and wisdom being forged within you. Trust this season where you are on reserve, where you may feel hidden, but are being refined in a space that few could understand. This is not a detour or a delay, but an essential part of the path that prepares you for greater. What awaits you is a future that matches the force of your spirit, connections that will see you fully, blessings that align with the core of who you are. You are not alone in this. You walk alongside others who too have felt the solitude, who have understood the necessity of being set apart to hold space for something greater. Take this as your invitation to share your voice, to reveal the truths you've uncovered in the quiet. Share your story, the strength you've gathered, the transformation you are living. You carry within you the light of one who has walked through silence and emerged stronger, someone who can guide others by your example. This is not just your path, but part of a greater purpose, a testament to the resilience and purpose of the chosen. Share what you've gained in this time, and let others see the power that emerges when one truly understands what it means to be held, protected, and transformed.